Hey there, welcome. Okay, so for my first Christmas and July tutorial, I have to share with you this fun, so cute, very whimsical reindeer Christmas ornament that would go awesome on a rustic Christmas tree, a farmhouse Christmas tree, or a country themed tree, or a traditional tree as well. Reindeers are my very favorite Christmas character to create, and this one turned out to be one of my favorites thus far. I hope you love it as well. Welcome to all stopping by my channel today, and I hope you will share this video with your friends and family and give it a thumbs up, and as well leave me your comments and tell me what you think of this very cute reindeer Christmas ornament. Okay, let me show you step by step how I made this ornament. I have here some reindeer wood cutout heads. I had to search for these. Actually, I searched on Amazon. I entered in a search for wood cutout reindeer heads, and this popped up. And I ordered a bag of them, which actually there's about, I want to say 50 or 60 in the bag. So there's plenty more for future projects. So it was definitely worth the money spent on those wood cutout reindeer heads. I have here some little wood round pieces that they sell at the Dollar Tree. Now, they come actually like two sizes. I used 3 of the larger ones and 4 of the smaller ones. I used the larger ones for the main body of the reindeer, and then I used 2 on the tail end for the tail or the rear end of the reindeer, and then 2 for the neck. But I'll talk more about that later. I have here some jute cord that I purchased. I'm sure that was from Walmart. It's a little bit of a thicker cord. I'm going to be using that for the legs of the reindeer and the tail. I have here these little jingle bells, and I purchased these at Hobby Lobby. They're 1 inch long, and they're in a rectangular shape like a cowbell. So you'll need 4 of those. And I'm showing you the reindeer head here because it actually comes with a face drawn on there, so you can keep it like that, or you can create your own face, which is what I did with mine. And I used some thin black wire from the Dollar Tree to create little wiry nostrils, and I'll show you that in a bit. I'm also showing you there that I have a container of those eyeballs that you can purchase at the craft store, and you could use those if you don't want to paint your eyes on. And I'm also showing you here another option. If you want to do Rudolph, you could use one of these little tinsely pom-poms, and that would work as well. If you hear some banging going on, it's July 5th, but those fireworks are continuing. So sorry about that. Not much I can do about it. Okay, so I have here a Christmas type of a pipe cleaner. Basically, that's what it is. It's a pipe cleaner, but it has like that kind of evergreen finish. And I have another one here that would suffice as well as a wreath for placing around the neck of my reindeer. I ended up using the pipe cleaner one, and you'll see that later how I did that. I have here some little tiny pine cones and holly berries. I didn't end up using those, but I thought I might on the wreath, but I didn't. I ended up using a red jingle bell, which that's what I have there, my little jar or my little container of Christmas jingle bells. I have here some Waverly antiquing wax. I'm going to be using that on the head of the reindeer. And I have here a small jute twine. They sell that same jute twine at the Crafter's Square section at the Dollar Tree. I have here a selection of very narrow ribbons because I'm going to be creating a small bow to place on the wreath that's going to go around the neck of my reindeer. So I have a number of choices there, as you can see. And I'm showing you again here that I have the reindeer head, which has a face on it. You can use it or not use it, whatever you like. Now, I took 3 of those reindeer heads and I glued them together because I wanted to create a thicker look for the head. So I'm going to be gluing those together, and I'm going to make sure, because I'm doing my own face on the reindeer, that I glue the face that came on the wood cutout head. I'm going to make sure I place that in between so it's not showing on the back side of the head. So I'm going to use some Gorilla wood glue. You can use whatever wood glue you like. And I'm going to glue those, all 3 of those together. Now you can see there that I drew on some eyes. Now I always go on the internet to look for eyes or options for something that I want to draw. And I just did a search on the internet for whimsical cartoon eye images. And it will come up with a lot of pictures of eyes that you can draw, and you can choose whatever you like. Okay, so here's my wood pieces that I mentioned that came from the Dollar Tree. Now, the 3 large ones are going to serve as like the body or the belly of the reindeer, and then the 2 smaller ones are going to kind of arch upward, and that's going to serve as the neck. See how I'm holding it there? You don't want everything in a straight line. You need to create a little bit of a curve at the neck and a curve on the back end, and that curve is going to go upward. So now I'm going to take my wood glue, and I'm going to start gluing my pieces together, and I'm going to start with the large ones. And I'm going to glue those all together. Now, initially, you'll see that I'm only putting 1 small one on the back end, but I am going to be adding another one on there. So you need 3 of the larger ones. They come in 2 sizes in the package of those pieces from the Dollar Tree. They come with larger ones and then a little bit smaller ones. So notice how I placed my smaller ones on the back end, kind of creating a little bit of a curve on the reindeer's body. Now I'm doing the same thing for the neck, and I'm going to use 2 pieces there for the neck, but like I said, you'll see me add 1 more piece on the end later. I decided that I wanted the body a little bit longer. Once I was, able to see the piece more collected and put together. So now I put all of my wood glue on my pieces, but I have there on the table, I cut 4 pieces of that jute cord. I cut it at around 6 inches because I wasn't sure exactly how long I wanted the legs, but I cut 4 pieces. And what I'm going to do is put those jute cords in between these wood pieces. Now I did intentionally went ahead and glued them and then let them set for just a little bit. And then I'm going to pull apart the area where I'm going to place 2 pieces of that jute cord, which is going to serve as the front legs and the back legs. Now, for the ends of that jute cord, where I'm placing it in between those wood rounds, I frayed it just a little bit so the cord wouldn't be thick, but rather more flattened out. And I pulled that neck piece off, placed the jute cord down into the wood glue, and then I pressed the neck pieces back onto the body piece. And now I have the front legs of my reindeer. You see how that works? Now it looks pretty crazy, but it's going to turn very cute in just a bit. Now we're going to do the back legs. So I fray out the same little area. I want to say I fray out about 1/4 of an inch just to flatten out that jute cord. And then I'm going to pull apart the tail piece from the belly piece. See, it's set a little bit, but that was what my intention. And I'm just sandwiching those jute cords in between those wood pieces. And I just press that jute cord into the wood glue. I put a little bit of additional on there, and then I pressed the tail piece on. And remember, the tail piece that you place on there, you want it a little bit higher. Maybe you could see how it's just a little bit arched there on the end, on the neck end, and on the tail end. Now you just want to keep pressing that together until it really has a good adhesion. I squeeze it together really, really tight. Now you can see a little bit of that curve that I had on the body, where it curves up on the tail and up on the neck area. And I'm showing you, if you want to do Rudolph, you can use one of those tinsel pom-poms. That looks really cute. Now you can see the eyes that I drew on my reindeer. Now I'm not gonna put a lot of detail on the face of my reindeer. That's up to you. You do you, whatever you like. Maybe you want to provide more detail on the antlers or on the ears or on the face. That's up to you. This is how I'm doing mine. So I took a little bit of that craft wire and I wrapped it around about 8 times around a little. I think that was like a little stake that was on like a garden stake that I cut off of something. But anyway, you just need something very narrow, more narrow than a pencil. Just some type of little, a dowel or maybe a skewer, a wooden skewer from the kitchen department. You know what I'm talking about. Okay, so I just coiled up a little piece of wire. That's going to serve as my nostrils. And I did 2 of them, of course, for 2 nostrils. Now, I did that very same thing on a reindeer ornament that I had made last Christmas season. You could see that that video on my playlist. Oh my gosh, that was the cutest ornament. And I got a lot of attention on Instagram and various social media platforms. It was about 1 foot long. It was the cutest ornament ever. You have to look for it. Okay, so anyway, I'm doing the nostrils the same because I liked it so much on my previous ornament. All right, so I'm going to take that antiquing wax from Waverly and I add water to it because I want it very watered down. I only want to try and create as close a match as I can to the wood pieces on the body, but I'm not worried that it's perfect. So I just put the antiquing wax on my reindeer head, and then I took a dry cloth and wiped it off because I didn't want it certainly as dark as it initially was. So that was a pretty close match, and I'm happy with that. And I did so on the back side as well. Now after that, I did another application, but only on the antlers because I just wanted those to be a little bit darker to differentiate the antlers from the rest of the head. So I put a layer of that antiquing wax on there, left it for just a bit, and then I blotted the rest off. So there's not a huge difference in color, but there's a little bit of differentiation there. Now if you wanted to, you could use paint, acrylic paint, to paint your face and the antlers. If you don't want to use antiquing wax, that's up to you. Now I'm going to do something really cute on the head. Those wood cutouts came with a hole in the head. They also came with some jute twine, but I guess intending to make them out of ornaments to put on a tree and to feed the jute cord through there. But what I'm going to do is create a sprig of hair on that top of the head of my reindeer. So I took a little piece of jute cord, about, I want to say, like an inch, inch and a half, and I frayed it out really, really fine. I wanted like this crazy sprig of hair on the top of my reindeer head. This turned out so cute. So at the bottom of the piece that you frayed out, leave a little bit that you don't fray so that you have the ability to poke it through that hole. And now that takes care of that hole at the top of that reindeer head. I filled it in with that frayed jute cord and created a sprig of crazy hair on top of the head of my reindeer. And I just cut off the excess on the back, put a little dab of glue in the back, and that was it. Super cute. I use Aleene's Tacky Glue for that. Any kind of tiny job that I need to do, so to speak. I don't usually use hot glue because I don't have a real fine tip glue gun. So I, prefer to use Aleene's when I have a tiny job to do. Okay, so this is going to be the wreath that I'm going to put around the neck of my reindeer. And I ended up using that, I'll just call it a Christmas pipe cleaner. And I'm going to be creating a very small little figure 8 bow to go on the bottom of that wreath once I place it around the neck of my reindeer. So I just created a little figure 8 bow with small loops, 1 loop on each side. And then I'm just going to take my hot glue gun and glue down the center to hold those loops firmly on there and place them together. This looks really cute. That ribbon has a little bit of a snowflake detail on it. And then I took a little bit of a little small jingle bell from my jar of bells. And I just put a little dab of glue in the center, and that's how I'm going to decorate the center of my little figure 8 bow. It's going on my wreath. Now, I'm not ready to close that wreath off. I do that after I put it around the neck, and you'll see that later on. All right, so here we have my body of my reindeer minus that one more piece. There we go. That I'm going to put on the down. See how I arched it so it would go up in the back? Reindeer body's not going to be straight across. So you want to create that little curve from the neck to the tail. Now, this step, I thought I was going to be inserting the tail into a hole. I didn't actually need to do this part, so you could skip this if you like. But I was creating a little hole with a screwdriver in that piece of the wood that's going to serve as the tip of the tail. But so what I ended up doing was creating something a little bit different. I didn't actually need the hole, but it's no problem that that little hole is there because I just pushed the tail into the hole. Now what I'm going to be doing is fraying out this jute cord to create a very fuzzy, fun, and crazy looking tail. So there's going to be about 1/4 of an inch of that jute cord that I'm not going to fray out because that's going to be the base of the tail. But otherwise, I'm just going to fray this out as much as I can, rubbing my fingers to really separate the fibers and spread out the jute hairs, if you will, of that tail. Now, initially, I think that I ended up doing a longer tail than this. I thought this was the length that I wanted, but trial and error. This piece was all from the onset, something that came from my creative imagination. So along the way, sometimes you have to backtrack and rethink something. And I decided that my tail wasn't quite long enough. So I decided to do a little bit longer one. And the same way, I left about 1/4 of an inch for the base, and then I frayed the rest out. And then I just trimmed it accordingly once I got it, once I determined exactly how long I wanted my tail. This part is so easy. There seems to be a lot of steps to making this ornament, but actually it doesn't take that long to make. But this is, just turns out to be so cute and so worth the time to create it. Like I said, one of my favorites that I've done, and I've made a lot of ornaments in my day. Okay, so I'm fraying this out, and I'm going to make a very fun, cute, full, frayed out jute cord tail for my reindeer. So here I'm just holding it up to the wood piece, determining if I'm happy with the length. Now I'm going to take that narrow jute twine and I'm going to place a dab of glue at the base of the tail. And I'm just going to be creating like a little, I guess you could say like a stump to the tail. And I'm going to wrap that cord around 3 times. After I've wrapped it 3 times, I put a little dab of glue at the end, cut off the excess, and now I've created like a little base or a little stub of my tail to glue on to the back end of my reindeer. Now once I have that on there, I can trim that excess off right there. And then I'm going to glue that right to the rear end of my reindeer. Now I'm going to take my tail and glue it on there. Now I'm taking my wood glue, just gluing on the last piece there. Notice how I placed it upward so that I have an arch or a curve of the body. You see how I did that? All right, now for my face. Like I said, I went on the internet and I just found a sample of the kind of eyes that I thought I wanted for the face of my reindeer, and I just drew them out with a pencil by looking at the images that I saw on the internet. Now, you can use a Sharpie marker to draw lines on the face, or you can paint them on like I did with a very fine tip paintbrush. Then, of course, the only other detail on the face is going to be those little wire, little curly wires that I created for the nostrils. All right, it's time to do the legs. And right now, I know it looks a little crazy, but it's going to make a lot of sense here in just a minute. I'm going to feed my jute cord through the ring on the top of the bell. And I'm going to feed it through so that I'm feeding it in the direction of the underside of the reindeer. This helps to keep the feet in alignment if you do it this way. So again, I just take my cord, feed it through, pointing it toward the underside of, or the middle, or the underside of the reindeer. Now I'm going to determine exactly how long I want my legs, and that's done by creating the first leg. Then all the other legs are just matched up to that first one that you do. So I stick my jute cord through the ring on the top of the bell, fold it, and press it up against the jute cord. And I'm just going to put a dab of glue there to secure it and then cut off the excess. I press it really, really firmly with my fingers. And this is how we're going to secure the bells, which are supposed to represent the feet or the hooves of the reindeer. Now later on, you're going to see that I take some jute twine to finish those off a little bit. I'll show you what I'm going to do for that in just a minute or so. So I chose the length of the legs, and now I'm going to do all of my legs exactly the same way, matching up the size. Be sure to hold your reindeer up to be sure you're getting your bells on at the right level. They don't have to be absolutely perfect, but just try and get them as even as possible. Now I'm going to take that jute twine and I'm going to do the same thing I did to create the stub on the tail. I put a dab of glue. I'm going to wrap that jute twine around 3 times, right above where the jute cord goes on the ring of the bell. And this creates a really cute little finishing touch. And it kind of covers up any imperfection where you folded over that jute cord to attach the bell. Really adds a nice little finishing touch. I did that for all 4 legs. And then I snipped off any excess, and there you go. Now, can you see where I wrapped them? It's starting to look so cute. We have all of our legs on now. Now, I did one thing here. If you work with jute cord, you know it just wants to unravel. It just does it by touching it. It just does it. So what I decided to do was I put a little bit of Mod Podge on my plate, and I took my fingertip and just went over the legs of my reindeer. And I kind of pressed the jute cord together as I did it. And this way, that would prevent that cord from trying to unravel or just separate. You see how I did that? It was really a very simple thing to do, a very simple touch that really would help to preserve the appearance of the legs. See how I squish it together with my fingers after I get the Mod Podge on there? That's just a little finishing touch. You could do it or not do it. It's up to you. And now my reindeer stands on its own, as you can see. Now I have my eyes on. So cute, right? And those bells do jingle, by the way. I put that in a clip at the end just so you could hear the little jingle bells. Now I'm going to be gluing on my little wiry coiled nostrils. And I'm going to do that with Aleene's Techie Glue. And that's going to be the detail on the face of my reindeer. Now, if you're going to use, say, for example, the little eyes that you glue on, now would be the time to do that. If you're going to glue on a tinsel pom-pom, now would be the time to do that. Any other detailing on the face? Look how cute. You see the curve? That's very important to get that curve. And I also glued on, with hot glue, the tail. How do you like the tail for my reindeer? It's so scraggly. I love it. Now, the head of my reindeer is going to go on after after I show you here, that when I glue that on, I'm going to be placing that underneath the ears of the reindeer in the back. And I'll show you what I mean by that in just a minute. But you want to be sure to place the head on properly. But before I do that, I have to do one thing, and that's to create a hanger for my ornament. So I cut a piece of jute twine, I want to say around 6 inches. And what I'm going to do is hot glue that jute twine to the wood piece that serves as the neck, right there, right in the middle. Then I'm going to bring the other end to the back, and I'm going to wrap it around the tail. So I decide about how long I want the hanger, and I put a little dab of glue next to the tail, and then I'm just going to wrap it around the tail one time. And this is going to really hold that hanger on very well, plus finish off that hanger in a nice, neat looking way. Once I bring it all the way around, I just put a little dab of glue to close that off, snip off the excess, and I have a nice clean look to the attachment of my jute cord hanger. Don't forget this part, because you have to have a hanger for your reindeer, right? And I use my little picker tool. I don't know what I would do without it. It helps me out doing all kinds of intricate little details on my projects. Dollar Tree. I love their little tools. There's so many little handy tools in the Crafter's Square section. All right. Look at how beautifully it's coming along. All right, now we are going to put the head on. So I'm going to be placing the head on by placing it up against that wood round below the ears. This way my head is sitting up. See what I mean? This way my head is sitting up high enough on my reindeer that it looks correct on the piece. Hold it there for a minute. Let that dry. Oh my goodness. And this is the part at which I started getting very excited, because I saw that my vision was really coming to life. I just love this. All right, so now I'm going to take my little pipe cleaner garland, and I'm going to wrap it around and determine exactly how big I want my wreath. I'm going to shape it in a circle, cut it off where I feel it needs to be cut, and then I just take the wire ends, wrap them around each other, or wrap it around itself, and close off that wreath. Just by twisting the wire around itself. Now we're also going to glue that to the back of the neck, so that will be an extra means of securing that seam where you put the wreath to close the wreath. Now I'm going to take some hot glue, and I'm pointing right there. I'm going to place glue right there on the back of the neck, press it down, and now that wreath is not going to move around on there. It's nice and secure. And now I'm going to hot glue that bow on. And look, my reindeer can actually sit on its rear end. Isn't it so cute? It stands up on its own, and it can sit as well. Super cute. My God. Okay, so put that bow on there with some hot glue, just a dab of hot glue. Hold it on till it's completely adhered, and then I just trim up the tails a little bit on that bow with angling them, and there you have a super cute ornament for your Christmas tree. Oh my goodness. I hope you love this one. Don't forget to like and subscribe and share this video out with your friends and relatives. Leave me your comments as well. I hope you love it. And one final look at this very cute reindeer. Let me know what you think of this one in the comments. I love receiving your comments. And I hope you feel inspired to make this very cute ornament.